if me shoving trail mix in my mouth isn't real, I don't know what is.
No, seriously.
It's like my weakness.
I'm so glad, because when I was looking for snacks at the gas station, I was like, she would love this.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Anything with M&M's, really.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I love waffles too. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is so important. This is so important. My experience with women, and I'm new to where I live as well, so there's that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm also throwing myself trying to find women. So that's a caveat, because yeah. But the conversation doesn't ever go any deeper than the kids. Or what else was I saying? The day-to-day stuff. Yeah. The shows they're watching, or just the day-to-day stuff. And like, why are we not talking about our goals and our dreams and what we want to do and what we like, what inspires us? That is what I think. Where do you even find the women like that? And that's where you and I had that conversation with I can't just broadcast to the world. Like, could you imagine dating like that? Like the way that I was trying to find friends when I moved here. Like,
that is how people.
Why don't you be my friend?
Right.
Why don't you date me?
I think there are people who are trying to date that way, and that's why it's going equally as well. I'm really nice. I swear to God, I'm not crazy.
No. Here's my list of shit that's wrong with me. Just let's get that out of the way.
Dude, I tell people that is. There are so many people that do that in relationships. Here's my baggage. If it's not too scary, we can continue. And I was like, what kind of introduction is that?
Because it keeps coming up and it keeps not working. That keeps getting in the way.
Yeah.
So then you get to the point where you're just like, fuck. Like, this is me.
Right.
Like, this is all my shit. And then if they don't go, I don't know. I know that's a real shit way to start, but
I think there are softer introductions that can be a little bit more. But I think it's funny because everybody's fucking done it.
Yeah.
You know, hey, my heart's been broken a couple of times. This is where it's been broken the most. So here, you're gonna break it this way? I just want to know right away.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
To where even in my marriage, I swear I've been like, you're just gonna leave, so why don't we just get this the fuck over with, you know?
Yeah.
And we approach people that way.
Yeah.
So that if you've been jaded a couple of times, you'll just be like, great, let's just talk about the bullshit and go about our business, you know, until you just give up, you know, and be like, okay, something's got to work. Because I think there is, like, for me, it was like, I am a good friend. Mm-hmm. Why don't I have any close friends? And I know about me.
Yeah.
I don't have tons and tons of friends. Mm-hmm. I have lots of acquaintances, but a small inner circle. Like, I've always been like that.
Yeah.
And those needs used to just be met by my family. My family's big and it's in your business, and they're really close. So it just used to be like, it was my family. But then I move away, and then I go to medical school. Well, that's a pretty intensive situation, so those spots immediately get filled. So there's not a void. But then when I start creating a life outside of that, you know, because we've graduated, moved on, moved to different parts of the country, it's not that we love anybody less, you know. I didn't stop being friends with those people, but like my one good friend lives in Vermont, and she has kids, so she's 2 hours apart, central, like 2 hours, and I always think to call her at like 9 p.m., and it's 11 p.m. there, and she's got kiddos, so I was like, oh, I can't, and that just happens a lot. So it is like, then it's just kind of like, well, I'm just kind of lonely, or just wanting to go to happy hour, and I love my husband, and he's awesome, but sometimes I just want to tell somebody about my period and the angry ovary symptom that I have, and he can't relate.
Women are, and that was the most frustrating thing, was like, I knew that women were some of the most powerful, inspiring human beings I've ever encountered. And so I knew I wanted to be around that, and I wanted to be around the ones that were really tuned in with, like, no, I'm going here. Like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And how do you find that? Like that, and that was like my, you know what I mean? I would literally put an ad on Facebook for like, are you there?
Right,
And
exactly,
then, just crickets, but.
Yeah, no doubt. And what is that? I don't know, but it's interesting that you say, because like, yeah, women are fascinating. I can see why guys are fascinated with us.
Yeah.
Like the wrath that I have, so just the passion that's there, you know what I mean? And I'm just like,
yeah,
oh,
I call it passion
like
too.
reframed in a different way, because it actually is coming from passion. You know, like a different place.
Right.
It gets misdirected and bastardized and stuff like that, so it comes out in not so attractive ways. Like, I'll admit that, but still, that it is just like something means that much to a person.
Yeah.
That they're willing to go through hell or fight this way or do something. You know, that there's such an aliveness underneath.
Yep.
There are healthy ways to express it and not. Okay, that's what I want to be in touch with, is people who are alive and not trying to be someone else and not just trying to get through until they die, because that's not. So how do you find them? I don't know, but they're there. And I think sometimes what kept me going on is I felt alone a lot, but I just sort of knew, like, I'm not the only one. I can't be the only one.
I can't be the only one. I said that a lot.
Right. I was like, I just can't be the only one who's feeling this, who's struggling with this, who's hitting their head up against this.
Yeah.
And I know that I am a good friend. And it also is just like, why is it so hard as an adult? This is dumb. We all know how to do this. Do you want to play? It was that simple. Why do we now have these like funky, weird dances and special handshakes that you're supposed to know before you, like, it's, no, that's the shit we're supposed to be creating together. Why do we have to do that before I meet you, you know? And so there's like, a lot of people then create this like circle with their family of like, and I understand it's like a sacred space, but then it'll dry up. Like, I love my love nugget, you know, what other people refer to their partner as husband, you know? That love nugget, formerly known as husband. You know, like Prince, like, but my love nugget, like, that is something special, but he's not all of it.
Yeah.
To where I'm just like, sometimes when I would find camaraderie with a woman, I was like, yes, and I know he's the same way about men. Just having a day with the dudes, you know?
Yeah.
Why is it so hard? I don't know. But what I guess I know from what worked is that in one of those strange ways that I was like, I know I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
Just know I'm not the only one, so it's like the hope, I couldn't even kill the hope. I was just like, I know somebody's out there.
You know what I found about women too is like they like to stay very, very, very safe. Like there's a safety in their home and with their significant other, and that was frustrating to get past that of like, do you want to be friends beyond your family? Because I don't think a lot of women were really.
No, it's interesting. I played volleyball, you know, with a group of women, and so when I first moved here, that's how I generally meet people. And on the team, like, everybody got along fairly well, but then there was one girl, and we got along well. She has kids, I don't, but it was never an issue. And it wasn't like we spent a ton of time together, but we just had a lot of similar viewpoints. We could talk about stuff that wasn't bullshit and stuff like that, and having respect for each other on the court. So then it was just kind of like, oh no, let's be friends. You know, that's a natural next step. But there was someone else who was on the team who, the person that I was getting along with, they were friends since high school. So we would be in the same spaces, and we even had a watch party for Brene Brown's Call to Courage, you know, all about vulnerability. And I swear you could see her thought bubbles of, this person needs to watch this person needs to watch this. And the whole time she just told me, like, you saw, it takes time. And I'm like, I've been playing fucking volleyball with you for 4 years. Yeah. And I'm not the fake type of person. So I am. And she's, in those 4 years, I even transformed as a player, of getting kind of frustrated with weaker players and stuff like that, to dealing with some of my own shit, to where then I was actually I just love the fucking game. And as long as you know where you're supposed to be so that I'm not going to get injured, I have no problem with you, you know? And the level that we're playing, that was fine. So I didn't care if somebody messed up anymore. So she had seen a lot of even differences in me and even acknowledged them, but still was just like, we haven't known each other long enough. I'm like, I cannot reverse and come live here to have gone through high school to go with you, to where it was just like, okay, you're not it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to keep trying. You don't want to go there, because what it would take was being vulnerable and letting me in.
Yeah.
I've showed you who I am. I've been here. I'm saying, hey, do you want to hang out? And you're basically saying no.
Yeah.
Or no, we can only talk about this issue, or only around this, only around volleyball. Like, we even went to her house to watch the gubernatorial debate when Paulette Jordan was running, and just watching that. But it's just like, those issues we could talk about, but then it was nothing else. Because she just saw, you don't have children, so you don't know what it's like. So there's just like this separation to where it's just like, peace out. I can't keep trying anymore. But it's interesting that when I did that, that also included that the team was going to have to, the team was splitting, and not just because of that reason. She wanted to play a different position, so in order for her to do that, she was going to have to go a division down. I was like, I don't want to play down, I want to play up. So it was kind of like, and I was nervous because I'd been with this group for 4 years, you know, and just be like, oh, I don't know. And then I'd have to step into the captain's role, and I generally don't like administrative positions and telling people what to do and give me money, blah. But I was like, hey, I'm gonna have to do that if I'm actually going to play at the level that I want. But then when I did that, me and the other girl, my friend, we both knew, like, this is the kind of team that we want, and it just fucking showed up. Like, the team that we'd wanted for 4 years of being like, how come we don't go out for a beer after the game? We went out after every single game except one. And we're just like, we knew it was possible. So some of it, I guess, is just hanging on and knowing that it is possible.
Yeah.
And just giving the universe time to reconfigure so that it can put the person in your path. And it's fucking frustrating because it always takes longer than you think it should. It's like dating.
Yeah.
But how much, I don't know about your experience, but I know from my experience, because I didn't get married till I was 33. But I mean,
Which is what we're at my age right now.
Right. But
I remember your guys' face. I'm sorry to interrupt, but you guys were like, you don't know dating? Like, you don't know.
I know.
You don't know what dating is?
Yeah, because you kept being like, women are like this. I was like, dudes are like this. They just ghost you. Like, you just don't. Yeah, if you don't want to talk, I was like, you just leave. Like, yeah, or you keep it surface level. Yeah, all that stuff. But that just, it was of like, and Pete had this too, where it was just like, I know I'm not alone. I know there's somebody that I could love and would love me back for who I am. Like, I just know it. And god damn it didn't show up as soon as I said that. You know? Like, fucking A, how much heartbreak do I have to go through? How many times do I have to see? Oh, some dudes just want a booty call, and I don't want just that. And some guys just want me to be a baby factory, and I don't want that. You know? At that time, I wasn't then, and I'm still not now, opposed to having kids. At that time, I actually thought I would, but I didn't want to have, like, 8, even 4. I mean, I don't know, it was just like...
one's enough.
I'm also 33, and I was like, I just don't want to be pregnant for the next 4 years of my life. That's just my personal thing. I don't care what anybody else does. There was just, I don't know, like, just different things to where I'm like, And when you just kind of give up and surrender, that's when it sort of happened.
Yeah, and I feel like I started to really feel like there was just something wrong with me. I was like, there's got to be something wrong with me because this is just not working out, and maybe I'm too much. Maybe I'm too much for women because I can't meet them at that level.
For the number of times I've been told I'm too much, or what my mom used to say, you are something else. It was never something good. Like, you just tell from the tone, like, I was not a thing. Like, I've always been too something.
Yeah, same.
So when I'm just like, I don't even know what I'm doing, and I don't know how to turn it off. Like, it's just me being enthusiastic. And a lot of what it was, like, you're just too, I think I got forward, or you're too intimidating. And what I honestly got after a while was, I'm too willing to be vulnerable. And some people just aren't, they just want to keep that dance going for so fucking long until they're absolutely certain that nothing bad could ever happen for the rest of their life. And then they'll let me in, and I'm like, God, I'm going to be old and gray by that time. Like, I'm tired of doing this dance. And every once in a while, you'll find people that let you in. And that's a hard place to be, though. I mean, it's fine now because like we're sitting here having the conversation. But prior to that, it's not. It's pretty sucky. It's pretty fucking
fucking sucky.
Yeah.
I really was just like,
dude, sometimes when I'm like, oh God, divorce is actually on the table. Are we gonna stay or go? I'm like, I don't want to date. That's not a good enough reason to stay together. But fucking hell, I don't want to date. Like, oh,
I don't want to date.
Like it actually factors in. It is. It's hard. Making friendships as adults is like fucking
Dating.
ridiculous. It's just because we built up this armor for so long.
Yeah.
And I think even bought that like we're supposed to present this version of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and sometimes we're just like, the baggage is just like, well, this is what it really is. Like, you just want to see, but then it's also just, but I too, sometimes I just am like, here's who I think I'm supposed to be for you. Here's what I think people are looking for. And then I'll be that and I'm charming. And then all of a sudden I can't keep that facade up any longer. And then it's like, who the hell are you? So I really am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or there are some people who actually are like, I would like to see you, but I can't see you because I'm trying to be who I think they want to be. That happens in dating a lot.
Wait, say that again? What?
So sometimes like there is a time when you meet somebody and it's just like, there's just some things where you're just like, oh, breath of fresh air, kind of nice. Mm-hmm. But then you realize that was a nice thing. Then you try to be what you think they want you to be. Because this happens in dating. Like, it totally happened with me and Pete. As far as, it was great. It was easy. It was so easy. But then, I like him being around. I like him. I like the relationship. So then, I tried to be who I think he wants me to be, so that he'll stay around. And that's when things start to get crunchy, because then energetically, it's like, where are you?
Yeah.
You know? And that happens so often.
Yeah.
And sometimes, it's just recognizing when that's happening and being like, oh, none of us are really that good for a long time, I think.
What do you mean?
Hiding who we are. Like, it always ends up seeping through and coming through the cracks. Or I think the way that people do that is like, I have vetted this small circle and I'm good for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot too.
Yeah.
Those are usually the people who just born and raised in one spot, I feel like. You know, because they've never had to move and experience that shift or whatever. Yeah. Do you think I've changed at all? Because I wouldn't be able to see it in myself. Like, in my mind, I couldn't be a
not really. But I think that that's also because we're just at a point in our lives where bullshit doesn't have a lot of value. Yeah. And that if you stay or if you go, I know I'm going to be fine.
For sure.
So that it's not worth it for me to hold on to you at the expense of myself. So I think that there's some of just like, we've just kind of gotten.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
if anything, age or maturity or whatever, it's like, well, I have learned something in my life.
Yeah.
To where.
I totally thought you did not really want to be my friend.
Really?
Yeah, in the very, very, very beginning. And then I was like, I'm just gonna have to force myself on her. That's why, like, I was like, I think this is gonna have to happen. Like, that's really what I thought. And then I was like, okay, well, you know, I'll respect her space, whatever. But then you asked me to come, and then that was when I was like, okay, maybe. Maybe she'll have me.
Yeah, and then it was like, and because I mean, mine is mostly, I rarely offer myself to run with other people. Because usually, like, it took my best friend in medical school months for me to run with her. And finally, she's just like, you're running with me. That's it. For one, there is sometimes a freedom on the trail that I don't have to worry, because I am an includer and I worry about people's experience and I don't want people to feel left behind. And I know how it feels like to be the one who's holding the group up, and I hate being that person. So I don't want to be that person. And I don't want to make anybody feel like they're that person. So that sometimes that's just too much of a weight. And I'm like, I'd just rather run by myself and I don't have to worry about it. You know? Yeah. Just for the same reason I don't take my dog running in the summer, because worrying about if he's going to have a heat stroke is too much, that I'm just like, I can't actually be present with my run because I'm just so worried about you because you don't speak English and you can't tell me I'm thirsty, I'm going to pass out.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So it's just kind of like that. But then when I did run with her, there was a fun dynamic. And me now having run and doing some other athletic things, because I used to suspect Pete. Like, Pete taught me how to mountain bike, and I'm just happy to be with you. And I'm like, you are full of bullshit. You really just want sex. Like, that's what it is. But I remember one time going for a run with my sister, who my sister is not an avid runner. That's not her thing. She's like, I remember basketball practice and that was a punishment, and no, that's not a source of enjoyment. But one time she's like, well, I'll go with you. And I was like, okay. And I really was just so happy to have somebody go with me that I didn't care how fast or slow we went.
Yeah.
And I've done it so much that I don't have to prove to her how fast that I am and make her feel like shit.
Yeah.
And I don't have to go so slow and make it wretched for myself. But I also knew that if it wasn't the pace I want, I would get it the next day. You know, that like it wasn't, so that by this time that I was like, yeah, maybe running with somebody would be fun. She said she wants to run. I was like, okay, yeah, let's try that. Because it was a way to sort of try it on a little bit, you know? It's like there is something else involved. Like me and my mom always think that baseball games are great first dates because you don't have to just sit and stare at each other and talk.
Right.
Like there is a little bit of distraction and something else going on,
For
so
sure.
you can kind of tune in, tune out,
For sure.
feel it
For
out.
sure.
Like, because especially at the beginning, there's sort of like this, oh, he hasn't got my sense of humor. There's just a little bit of awkward silence. Oh, I'll just tune into the game here for a minute. And let that, you know, so it's kind of like, it is dating. It is just, will you play with me? And then just
dating.
finding out, are we good playmates? You know what I mean? And so it was just like, but then the conversation rolled so easy. And then I remember we were running and it was early on. And like, sometimes I'm just like, oh God, JOYLYN, shut up. Because I think I just almost immediately went into politics or COVID or my point of view about like how things were being handled and stuff like that. And I said it and you didn't answer immediately, and so I was like, oh, she's on the other side of this, isn't she? You know? But
Totally
then it was just like oh, she's not. And but that me just immediately jumping in wasn't off-putting.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe that's what you sensed in me of like, I threw this out there and it wasn't an instant recoil. You know, it was actually a pick up. We're playing this as a conversation. It's going.
Yeah. Well, for me, politics are that place where I don't really, again, like you and I have had that conversation, of course we have, where I love to hear other people's perspectives, but I don't really dive too deep into it because I know that it's just not a good space for me to be in. But I do enjoy hearing where that person's coming from, where that person's coming from. I'm like, oh, you got it. I see what you're doing. I see the dynamic.
Right.
But me personally, like I can't commit to a side because they're
one side.
Yeah, right. Because I see both, and it's just one of those things where that particular topic is just a thing where like I wanted to hear where you were coming from, like and it wouldn't have mattered to me if you were like a full blown fucking Trump supporter,
well,
like
a
fucking red, blue. I don't care.
I required it. You know what I mean? Like if I required agreement to continue, you know what I mean? And I think that's where a lot of people think friendship and partnership is just thinking the same.
Right.
Instead of actually just being like, there's an energetic component to it. It doesn't really matter.
Right.
It just seems to happen that then you just sort of attract people who do have similar viewpoints. But the times that like when me and Pete, when it's the times when things seem to be the toughest is when I want us to line up right together.
Yeah.
When it's like, it's not so far off.
Yeah,
but
I
it's
can
like
see that.
seemingly so bad. It's
I
just
can
like,
see that.
To where I think there's a lot of friendships that if politics is your thing, then that's like a value of yours, then that is going to be something that has to line up for friendships.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a lie that like all of these things have to line up in order to be friends, because there's been some great friendships in the history of the world, but I mean Palestinian Israelis, that some of the people who have actually met each other have friendships because they're actually experiencing the same thing just at the hands of the other. But the experience is the same. You know, and there has been great friendships between men and women. And let's face it, there's a shit ton of stuff that neither one of the other is gonna, you know. Pete cannot ever, for the amount of empathy that he has, ever really understand PMS. But if I require that somebody has to have the exact same experience, exact same
For
viewpoint,
sure,
then it's
yeah.
just kind of like, well, we're in an impasse now.
Yeah.
And it'll stop right here, and we can't go any farther. And maybe that's fine, but for me, I'm like, that just seems kind of dumb. Why don't we just be like, okay, on that we're not going to match, but is there something else?
Yeah.
And is there enough of the something else's that it actually continues to go?
And honestly, the thing that I get the most, and I get a lot of things out of you, and I don't mean to say that in like a like there's so much I gain from being around you, but my favorite thing is when we run, like. Because I would never go out and run on a trail. I would never go out and push myself. I just wouldn't. I'd go run on a treadmill. I'm fine on a treadmill. It doesn't bother me. Yeah, it's boring. I got it, but whatever. Yeah. But my favorite part is like when we're doing sprints on the hill, and I'm like, oh my god, this sucks. But watching you, and that's what I always admire in women. Like that's like, those women are like. Yeah. Driving you forward. Yeah. And not wanting to be okay just sitting there and
totally
watching Game of Thrones. Like that's cool. Mm-hmm. That's totally cool. Mm-hmm. Got it. But like I'm gonna push you, you're gonna push me. Yeah. Like those are the women that I need in my life. Because those are fucking amazing. Yeah. Straight you know what I mean? Like that's the shit that I need in my life. Yeah. 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 I just can't I can't even I don't know how to push a conversation forward with women that aren't that way. That's difficult for me to do. It just is. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And those are the women that I've experienced in Idaho, and I thought Idaho just wasn't for me. But I'm glad you're here. Yeah,
and I know, and like I said, like sometimes it just takes longer than I think it should. Yeah. You know, because me being in Idaho, I found a couple of people, but then they fell apart because it was like, we had to be connecting on problems. Yeah. And then when I got to be like, wow, I actually have to have something going wrong. And the two times when like it was two separate people, but one time when I actually just said, no, I'm not available today, it was just like, how can you not be this? And I was like, is that really what we're doing here? I had no idea.
Wait, what was the situation? I'm curious.
Well, like for one woman, you know, she was like just somebody I met here early on, and we got along, and it was fun. We'd hang out and go to happy hours and have interesting conversations. Mm-hmm. She had kids, I didn't, so most of the time I would go to her house because I was like, I know, you're juggling, it's fine. Mm-hmm. I don't have to deal with that, so I will come to you, like no big deal. But then one time she was going to do, like she was an esthetician, so she was going to do my eyebrows. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I need to move it to here, is this okay? And I actually said, no, it's not okay today, because of how it was going to put me into traffic and put me in rush hour, and I had other things to do. And she like flipped out. You don't know what it's like to have kids. You're so selfish, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, this is the first time I have ever said we need to keep it as scheduled. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of just went downhill from there. It was just sort of over. Then another woman, we got along really well, had interesting conversations, you know. And it was fine, but then she lives an hour away. Mm-hmm. And so she came over the day before her birthday, and I think we went to happy hour. I think we were just having wine in my back patio. Both ended up being sunburned and kind of tired. Mm-hmm. And so then the next day, she asked, like, it's my birthday and I want to go birding. She liked bird watching, and go to breakfast at this place, which was like an hour to an hour and a half away from my house. And I was like, I can't today. I need to work on my business. Mm-hmm. And she's just like, oh, that's so nice. You're going to leave me alone on my birthday. And again, it just sort of ended. Because I was like, one time, I was like, we've built up all these other experiences of like, I thought this was more than this. But it was like, there was just this expectation and like just a lot of bullshit. And I was just like, dude, I was actually clear yesterday that today was my work day. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know. And it was weird because I was like, I said happy birthday. Like, I gave you a gift yesterday. Like, what? Yeah. Where's, like, all this, like, like, harshness coming from? And I was just like, whoa. And I was just like, it made me really sad because I was like, yeah, same as you. I was like, I guess I just, you know, like, it's okay. I've got Pete. I've got my dog. I guess I'll be okay. Yeah. But still just sort of lonely because I was just like, oh, is there something wrong with me? Yeah. But then still kind of underneath the knowing, like, no, I said no, but I said it respectfully, and it really just seems like that's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like the first one I talked about too, I was just like in that span of time, Pete and I had bought our first house, and after 4 months, she'd still never come over. You know, and I was just like, dude, you haven't even seen my house.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just like, man, fuck, you know. And so where it's just like, throw out my hands, because it's just like, I can't pretend this is okay with me.
Yeah.
This doesn't seem like friendship, where it's like a one and done. If you do one thing that I don't like, we can't.
Right. Yeah.
You're a bad friend. And I was just like,
yep.
You know, like
same. Yeah, I've had almost the same experience.
Yeah, and so that was like early, and then I just kind of, you know, just kind of did my own thing for a long time, and I mean, it's good. I got better at mountain biking, because I sometimes do better with athletic things when I'm by myself. Like, I'm willing to, because nobody's around for me to look stupid in front of, you know, so it had some advantages, you know, but then I just, being an entrepreneur, I just was like behind my computer screen all the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, I just feel like I was shriveling as a person, because I'm like, I'm actually just lonely. I need human contact.
Yeah.
And my husband is great, but he had a job where he was gone about 50% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And my dog is also wonderful, but doesn't speak English, and really just wants my snacks when I'm looking for conversation.
Yeah.
So then I was just kind of like, wow, it's a little bit lonely, you know, what can I do? And
women really, really need other women.
I think so.
That's
and I think men need other men.
Yeah.
But yeah, that we do need each other, and there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, sometimes breaking through some of the stuff, it is kind of interesting. I'm like, where is all this bullshit coming from about what to expect from other women, and like other women being dangerous, and there's a lot of there is, like, people use toxic masculinity. There's toxic femininity too, as far as this competition, comparison, instead of lifting each other up. And it's just, yeah. But I know we're around, and now I finally met you. So I'm just like, I know there's more, and I know there's more even here, you know? And I know my other friend is part of it too, you know, like, she's just really busy. So yeah, I know there is more. I'm just so glad. I'm like, yay!
Yeah.
I have somebody I can go to, like, happy hour with that's not on the other side of the planet, and we're just doing it virtually, you know? Because I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, I just want a real person.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's, and I wish, like, for the sake of this conversation, who it's going out to, that there was like, here's the formula.
Yeah.
Here's how to find
Same.
it. Because just like dating, it's that totally sucky space of surrendering.
Yeah.
Just knowing that you're not alone, that there isn't something wrong with you. That's not to say that everything you do is perfect, so sometimes you have to examine your own bullshit. So that when you drop the baggage in their lap, it maybe not like crushing their legs. You know?
Right.
There might be a reason that you don't have, but really it's just kind of knowing that, like, man, I know I'm not alone in this. That probably is true. And you just keep, and sometimes there's no way to know until you. And as far as if online is your only way, that to, like, on paper, I don't think we would be a match. You know? Because I'm just like,
I don't think so either. That's weird.
Me and my husband were like 77% on, where there was other people being matched at 98, 99%. But I can't imagine how that would have worked with them, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's
But you and I not being exactly the same is what kind of works for us too.
a lot,
I feel like, anyway.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I agree. I think that I wish that there was a way, because there's just nothing suckier. That's all I guess I have to say. I was gonna go a little
but I mean,
bit.
you
There's
talk
just nothing
about, like,
suckier.
not your mother's business advice, and you just keep trying anyway. You know what I mean? If it's something that really is, it matters to your heart, you just keep trying.
I went back and forth on that.
Out there,
that's
you know?
true. That's very true. I remember going back and forth on that and just being like,
especially now that you have it, you're just like, oh my god, my life is so rich.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is totally
But you
worth
knew,
it.
but you knew that you could have that, and that's where that like frustration and sadness came from. Was like, I know what I could have with like a strong, empowered female in my life. Like I know what I'm capable of doing with her, and that's like just knowing that, and then not having it is even sadder.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Because you're like, well, fuck, I don't know what else to try. No, I mean, how else would I have found you? Other than, I guess other than doing what you're doing, keep going, keep trying, for sure. Like there's validity to that, absolutely.
And also the reframe, to where you have, like, it's so natural in business, of like, the business is going to succeed. I'm going to do this thing. And it's just going to be, to where when you're like, I'm here and I need to be here, when it comes to business, you're like, oh, boop, 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 and you just do those things. But when it comes to like a friendship or something that you don't feel as strongly or naturally gifted in, that when you see the gap of I'm here and this is what I like, you'd be like, oh, I guess I can't have it. And that's how we all operate, but that's never what is actually happening.
Right.
If you can see it and you're aware of the possibility, it's actually available. Because if it wasn't in your field, you couldn't even conceptualize it.
Right.
It's just that there are places where it's just like, for me, athletics. If I'm like, here's what my performance and what I'm able to do right now, and here's what I'd like to do, I just put my head down and get to work. And I just know what it takes. I can do the same with sort of a remodeling project or a cleaning project, in order where I'm just like, this is how it is right now, and it's a shit show. Okay, so what has to happen? And you can almost see the wheels turning, and then I just get to work. And if somebody watched it, they'd be like, oh, it got worse. But I'm like, but I know that in a matter of 4 hours or whatever, and then people are like, how did you get that done so fast?
Right.
Well, I saw what was, I saw what needed to happen, but I knew exactly what to do to fill that gap, to bridge that gap.
Right.
But then when it's something that you're just like, I'm not exactly sure how to bridge that gap, that we're just like, oh, the gap just must be to show me that I can't have it, but it's never actually that.
For sure. Right.
Yeah. Because I know in dating, and I wish I would have known this dating, because when I was in my 20s and early 30s, and knowing that I did want a partnership, I did want to have a life together with someone, and then just meeting failed after failed, and I say failed as if there was, like, they didn't work out for whatever reason. Meeting people that I got dumped because I wasn't Asian, that's been the first time that's happened to me. Like I didn't even do anything wrong, I just wasn't born that way. I got dumped that way.
That's kind of awesome, though.
Yeah, one guy actually thought I was too awesome and ghosted me, and then came back like 6 months later and said you were just too awesome and I couldn't handle it. And I was like, I have never been dumped because I was too awesome. That is also a first. And then I'm an empath narcissist. I had the narcissist relationship got run into the ground. And then I was just like, oh God, like, there's gotta be something. To where it was almost like, could I just not want this? Could this just not be my heart's desire? It just seems like it would be easier to have.
That's how I felt with friendship.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm like, but God damn it, I can't get rid of that. So, fuck. And then I just finally did. I wrote it down, what it was that I really wanted. And it wasn't. And then I wrote it down. I was just like, fuck, who knows? I don't know. Whatever. I'm just living my life.
Yeah.
I go to work, I just hang out with friends, play volleyball, that's what I do, like, because I don't know what else to do, And then I had a friend who, she recommended OkCupid because she was like, oh, I love first dates. And I was like, that is my nightmare. I hate small talk. I don't want to go through serial first dates. She thought that was the funnest thing because she got taken out to dinner and she didn't have to talk about anything she didn't want to talk about. I was like, that's like murder to me. But I was at a point where I was like, well, shit, it's free. What do I got to lose?
Yeah.
And I did that, and at that point, I was no longer looking for someone to get married. I was actually just looking for, I want to go to the baseball game. I want to meet somebody who wants to go watch baseball. And then a conversation started, and it's continuing 8 years later. So that's, it just works out like that. And I tell him, I got everything on the list except you don't have brown eyes or speak Spanish. I really want the Latin lover at that time. But I was like, well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Because the number one thing on there was I wanted fun. You know, and we have so many adventures and fun. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll take, you know, straight white guy with blue eyes. Like, all right, it's okay. You speak English, you have a Midwestern accent just like me, but you're pretty cool. We have good conversations and stuff like that. So yeah. Yeah, it just works, but sometimes it's like giving up and not quitting, but surrendering. Like there's just a different energy of that, and yeah. So that's the formula, folks. You have to fail and feel so bad until you just surrender to the universe and say, I know it's out there, please send it to me. And then it does. And then it's like delightful. Right. And you're just like, oh, hooray. Good, thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I lied, because there is an OkCupid, and you and I had this conversation. There is one, but that's even more depressing.
For
friendships, yeah, for female friendships. There's like a peanut. There's but that's like an app for moms, so you'd be excluded. You would not be invited to that party.
Seriously, I've been excluded,
which is so sad.
No,
which is so sad. Like just
kids.
get on there and then just put Stimpy as your photo.
Yeah, right. This is a fur baby. Yeah.
It's really sad, but
well, if this is true, then ladies, pull your head out of your ass, because having a badass female friend in your life is just so enriching.
What if you know that and then she's still not there and then you're so depressed? To fix their problems.
Well, here's like two things. Like my mom always said, and my mom doesn't have tons of good advice, but this one works. If you want a friend, ask a favor. You actually have to be vulnerable first. So a lot of times people want somebody to present themselves to you. And it's got to be all wrapped up in a pretty bow so it looks safe enough to you. Like, you've got to be vulnerable first. And you got to be a friend to have a friend. So if you want that, you got to be that first. And with yours, you actually just said, I'm looking for someone to have a creative, you know, endeavor and do something. And I just responded because I was like, I don't even know what this means, but this sounds awesome. You know, and that's how the conversation started. And then we went for coffee and we were there and we're like, oh shit, we've been talking for 3 hours. And then I was like, I have met my match. Someone can actually have a conversation this long. Like my husband, if he does that, he starts having googly eyes like the Cookie Monster, to where he's only hanging in there just because he really does love me. But it's just like, yeah, like, but it was you just being vulnerable, being like, here's what I'd like. And I think that a lot of people, even in dating, just want it without any of the risk. And nothing, like, nothing risk, nothing gained. You gotta put yourself out there on the line.
Yeah.
And putting yourself out there on the line, ask Brene Brown. She talks about this beautifully. Just displaying your baggage is not the same as vulnerability. And that might be one of the things that maybe people are doing. It's like, well, I'm being vulnerable. Maybe. Or maybe you're just being a mess.
Can I be both? Can I just be... Can a mess be my true identity and you still love me?
I actually don't know a human being that's not a mess, honestly. Sure. I mean, come on. It's just easier to see other people's messes.
For sure, yeah.
Pete, pick this shit up. Who does this? You do. No. I'm walking perfection. Amanda said so.
Yeah.
I use that. Amanda didn't think so.
Oh God, don't use that. I don't know what I'm doing. That's what I needed though. Or no, I don't want to say needed, but I think that's what I was really, really hoping to find in another woman, is that like I'm not okay sitting around just talking about the same old lame boring shit. That's cool. Like there are women for that scenario. But I mean, like, I have this idea. Like, I'm going to throw up. I'm so excited. Like, I need to do this idea. Do you want to come with me?
Yeah. You
know what I mean? And as you
have to find somebody a little half crazy like myself who's like, I don't even know what that means. And you'd be like, I don't really either. But it was still like, well, good enough.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And how do you find someone in that capacity? Because I was really starting to think that there was something just off with me in needing to explore life that way. Like needing to explore, like, we haven't done this yet. That's exciting. Like, let's dive in. Let's be bad. Let's just do all of the shit. All of it. Like, whatever that means. Whatever shows up. Like, cool. Like, wipe yourself off and keep going and then explore that cave and, like, dive there. But I don't know, there's just not, I couldn't find a lot of women that were willing to go there and be that adventurous, I guess that's adventurous, so I don't know.
I think so too, and I think if I may pat myself on the back, it takes a level of audacity and vulnerability of being willing to be like, I've looked at myself. Like, there's shit that isn't great, but it's not worth being ashamed about. There's stuff that I want to improve, but that's not worth stopping about. And can we roll? And that like, and to me, I was just like, the way that humans are and the way that consciousness works, that it's finally getting in, like, if I'm feeling this way, I know I'm not the only one.
I can't be alone in this, right?
Yeah.
If there's a serial killer, there's another one out there.
Totally.
That can help you get that done.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Sure. That's exactly.
There's a match for everyone.
There's a match for everyone. Well, seriously, like Jeffrey Epstein, like one of the biggest creeps, that he had a girlfriend who was like totally complicit in the thing. To where I'm just like, ew, gross, yucky dude, yikes. Gonna rape women. And there's a woman who's like, I'll help you find more women for us. And I'm like, oh, it's like, gross. So there's somebody for everybody, so I can't be the worst of this, because I just can't. I just can't. So
for what, as crazy as it, absolutely, as crazy as it might be, we're just different than other women.
And everybody who, like, is looking to get married is like, I just need a compatible different. I'm different than a lot of people. I just need somebody who's different, compatible with mine. And that's what friendship is. But I think what little kids have is this willingness to be like, hey, do you want to play? And if somebody says no, they don't dwell on it. They're just like, okay. And they run off to the next kid. And do you want to play? Like, it's just not this scarring thing. It's just like, oh, not available. Moving on. And if we could do that as adults, to be like, they said no, so there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with the game. Or I can't put myself out there again. And I'm just like, oh, well, okay, game over. No playtime. But that's something that you call, you know? So just really, just don't take it so fucking personally. People got their stuff going on, you know?
No, I got you. I think the last friendship that ended for me, I was kind of there. I was like, no, there's nothing wrong with either of us. It just wasn't a good fit. On with life. It took a long time to get there, but I would be lying if I said I didn't still think there was something wrong with me, because I was like, I'm 33, why isn't this working? Like, why?
But it's funny too that, like, we think, like, it does seem like maybe it's just because of my personal experience. Is it harder for women? But I know my husband's actually complained sometimes about the same thing. And some of it's just being an adult, and a lot of other adults having families, and just time constraints.
For sure.
To where they're not really saying no to him, but it is hard to build a relationship when somebody's not actually available. They might actually be emotionally available, but time-wise they're not. And his career takes him away a lot, so I'm like, you are actually not here a lot. So that if this is a slower build, be patient with what is. Because he's a really, like, I'm just like, because then it gets to be like, are we in the wrong place? Should we move somewhere? Is there a place? And there might be. There are friendlier and less friendly places in the United States. Seattle is really tough. I was lucky that I was in medical school and plugged into a community, because there are some places that are tough. But I was just like, no, you're a mountain biker. There's plenty of mountain biking here. You like snowboarding. There's plenty of snowboarders here. There's lots of people doing the same activities. So it's just, you actually have to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes it's just, look at your life and how available you are, how much time and effort you do have to put into it, and it might kind of just make sense why it might be happening slower, you know?
Yeah.
Because then it was just like, there's nothing wrong with you, you're just not here.
Mm-hmm.
You've got friends, you just don't see them very often.
Right.
But we get in our head and be like, oh, it's so bad, I should move. For some reason, moving seems like it's going to fix everything.
For sure.
When I was in my 20s, it was weight loss. I don't know what happened. When I hit 120, apparently a guy was just magically going to appear on my doorstep. I don't know how that was going to happen, but somehow that number, boom, I'm the hottest thing on the planet, and they're just going to be lined up asking for me. But this seriously was like, that was the thing that was going to make all the pieces connect.
That's so great.
And to where it's just like, but then we do that then with like, it's the job or the place that I live or something, and it's just like,
No, and that's almost more frustrating because I've had that conversation with a friend of like, oh, maybe, I should go try this other part of town or this other state. And they're like, it's not the place you live. Cool. Okay, then it's fucking me. Oh, God. Like, I've had these, so that's...
I appreciate your honesty, and I also hate you right now.
Right. Yeah.
But the thing is, like, because that's the truth. It is you then.
Right.
But the you is like, it's not that there's something wrong. There's a point of view that's creating that reality.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have the point of view that meeting women and having female relationships is hard, it will be. That's how powerful we are.
Yeah.
It's somehow, because I think that the surrender thing that we've been talking about, it's kind of just being willing to be like, maybe it's something else. And then you don't even have to know or try to figure it out, but it's like there's like this relaxed grip on this point of view. It's hard to meet women. Where you're like, man, I'm just going to set this down for a minute. Just not do anything with it. But that amount of space and relaxation allows other things to start moving and rearranging.
Right. Yeah. I have a question for you.
Waiting.
I forgot. I remember. Okay, I'm not trying to say I'm special.
Okay.
Because
I love where this is going already.
But, hold on. I do sort of feel like there's a small percentage of women that are like me and you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to put that out there.
Oh, yeah.
Because
if you're in the Boise area, let's hang out.
No, they're not here. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. There probably are.
I know of at least two.
Really?
Three, yeah.
Really?
There's, I'm like, should I name names? But there's one, she's the wife of Pete's friend.
Okay.
And we have run together and we've mountain biked together and skied together. And it was her who actually got me on the first Black Diamond ski run that I did. And she's like, it's not bad, I promise. And she flew down because she grew up here and has been skiing forever. I'm a little bit scared shitless, but I make it down. And I was just like, oh God, if Pete had put me on this, I would have torn his face off. But she just had it was just a different energy. And because she has been doing stuff so long, that she's not trying to prove anything. She's just like, yeah, it's fun to go down these.
Yeah.
To where it really was like, really? Are you sure? And I did it, and I was like, oh, okay, scary. I didn't die. Kind of fun. And now that I look back at it,
Yeah.
And then when we run, I tend to be the leader. But when we mountain bike, she's way faster than me. Like, we can pedal uphill, but downhill, she's so much more fluid than me. But there's not, but that's just an acknowledgement. It's not a competition. And I like that with her, there's that space. So she's awesome. And I know that she's sort of, she's plugged in because she's from here. So she, we hang out on occasion, and it's pleasant, but she has so many other friends that it's just... And her family's here. So it's not like she doesn't have the same need for another friendship.
Gotcha.
So there's nothing wrong there. It's just different levels. There is another woman who, she's the wife of a friend, but they are people we knew from doing a job in New Mexico, and they move here now. And we tend to do, we've run together, and it's very similar to where she's like, you lead, okay. And if I let her start, I won't be able to finish. Because I'm a slow starter, and I know that. But she's got long legs, so she's like, wee. But then when she's like, I can make it. But she's awesome because she's just like, it's just the enjoyment of doing an activity, and then our conversation's good.
Yeah.
And I think that if we were to mountain bike together, it would be similar because we've only talked about mountain biking but haven't actually done it today, because we are both with former mountain bike racers is who our partners are,
right?
Who are just like, let's do this, and we're like, that looks like a 52% chance of collarbone breakage, so that's a no, that's over. Like, now I'm just gonna pick up my bike and walk that, to where we're just like, I don't have time for that shit. So I was like, I think we're on the same page, you know? And then it's just the enjoyment of doing stuff together, not a competition of, you know, it's just isn't.
So there are other beasts in the wild.
Totally. And she's kind of a newlywed, but the first one I talked about, she also, like, when I was going through Pete, I was just like, let me just tell you, here's what, and she was the one who was just like, I totally get it, because her husband and my husband operate very much the same. When they are doing their thing on a mountain bike or skis or whatever in the mountains, they forget that phones are there, that sometimes cell service is required so that we don't think they're dead, because they just lose track of time. Like, innocent, but they just totally, and she's just like, yeah, I know, that's frustrating. Yeah. She's like, but if you don't do anything rash, it really is worth it on the other side. And I swear when I saw that text, I wanted to throw that phone across the room. But I was really glad, but it was honest.
Yeah.
You know, because she has been on both sides of it and saying that if you do work through it, the other side is better. Yeah. And I was like, I very much appreciate that. I appreciate women who aren't just giving the cliche bullshit. Yeah. Oh, so sorry, you deserve better, blah, blah. Right. And so where, there are this caliber of women around, I think we should start a club. And I think that there are more.
Yeah, we totally should start a club.
The 99s.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Because I want to see more of us lift each other up and just create a new paradigm of female relationship that isn't just based on raising a family. And it's not that whether you have kids or not kids, that's just not what it's about. Because in a group, especially the larger it gets, there will be subsets, subgroups, so that if that is something that's up in your world, but that you don't discount the information and insight of somebody who's not in that exact experience. Yeah. To where it's just like, I just like badass women. The conversation's good. They're not giving me fluff advice. Yeah. It's not about, competition. We're all happy with who we are in our relationship, so it's not like this insecurity of having to fit in this size pants or flirt with somebody's husband. Like, it's all just bullshit. Yeah. It is bullshit. Yeah. To where it's like, with any of those women, I could be with their husband and they could be with mine, and it would not be, right. Oh, I need to worry about this. It's like, oh, they're probably having a cool conversation, just like I would be having. Seriously. Yeah. Seriously. That's it. Yeah. But I think we've kind of been trained and steered to kind of doubt that that's even possible. Yeah. But it is. No, it really is. Yeah. Mine's always just ideas. Like, I've got more ideas than I've got life to live, and that's probably where my like rush to, like, you guys, like, why are you just sitting there? Like, come on. And my whole thing is like, if you want to have kids, that's just dandy. But for the love of God, that is not the biggest contribution you can be to the world. No, it's totally not. And I'm so tired of being like, it's not. It's my job, it's my gift to the world. No, you are the fucking gift to the world. No, and you own it. Right, and having a child, like, she's another human. Right. It's not, she has a different personality, a different point of view, a different set of fucking hobbies, and we're different entities from each other. And she would have been that probably without a whole lot of me around. I feel like genetically she would have found her way. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was here, we have a good relationship, that's cool. But like,
you go explore the world and do you, boo, and then I'll do me too, and maybe she will get more out of our relationship if that's the dynamic. I don't fucking know, but you know, I'm whatever. I agree. Finding yourself in your children or your husband is crazy. I'm sorry, I don't understand that.
It's just not big enough for me.
Yeah, agreed. No, that's a better way to put that. Yeah, it's very limited. It's the same way of just finding yourself in the television show that's popular.
Well, it always kind of, it didn't make sense to me because I was like, but I existed before them.
You're right.
So how can that now be the only thing that I'm here for?
I've met women that don't even drive. Like, they won't drive. They will not drive a car. They will not. And that is just, that's a fundamental thing.
That and my bed are my safe spaces. It's where the radio's up and I sing the loudest. Yeah, I can't imagine not driving a car.
Yeah, but I think it just comes from like he does that for me. He does all of that driving for me, and that's where I was like, I don't think we're.
I'm not excluding that. I think that is possible to be awesome and do that.
For sure.
I just think that it's just a rarity. I just want to know how to do stuff by myself.
I agree with you.
Because there's stuff like with my car, I'm kind of like, man, I really just don't want to dedicate more time to learning mechanics. I just need to know enough to where I could give a good first guess about where to start and who I need to call. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, is it the engine? Is it the transmission? Is it like
I got shit I gotta get done.
Right, exactly, because I don't want to do that. So it's okay for me to be like, can you do this? Thank you, do this. And he agrees, and that's great, you know?
Right.
Because, I don't.
And again, a husband and a friend, and I need people, and I don't want to say I need that, because I would love to have, and I do have, the people that can understand that I need that flexibility of, please come with me. Like, almost like Pete, I think. And like in his, but his is manifested differently. Of like, I have to go after this.
Yeah.
Like, I can't not do it. I will implode from the inside. Like, I've got to go after this. But I don't want to do it alone, because that's boring.
Yeah.
Like, I want an energy with me on that trip. Like, please do this with me, because this is so fun. Like, you know what I mean?
I want to share this.
And my husband's so cool with like letting me just cool. But he doesn't want to do it with me.
Right.
And so now, like, I got this shit. I gotta get it out. I gotta get it out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. And I have tried to drag my sister with me sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then she's just like 4 states away. So then I'm just like,
Right. Right.
And she has a toddler, so I was like, just so. Come on, I'm ready to go.
Could you not?
Could you just not be?
Yeah, exactly.
And there's nothing wrong there, but I'm just like, that's not workable. And then Pete, no, you just can't understand what it's like to have 2 X chromosomes right now. Don't have time to explain it to you. There's nothing you did wrong.
Right.
There are many ways that it benefits that you also do not have 2 X chromosomes. But for this, I need that kind of energy. And he's a very good conversationalist, but there comes a point when it just turns off. You know, and I'm just like, what happened? It was going good. I just tried out. There was no warning signals. And now the conversation, and then I just feel lonely. And I'm just like, God. And so, all those things,
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Come with me on this. Yeah. It honestly stems from a place of like, I really, 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 really love life. If I love it. I love this.
Throw this in, and this is like a whole nother meaty piece that I'm like, it's late in the game. Let's throw this in. And I do not in any way mean to undercut men in any way, because I think they are a contribution to our life, and I wish we'd wake up and see them more as such.
No, they're great.
Quite honestly, sometimes you just need a woman. And need isn't the right word, I guess. You're just not there.
Yeah, I felt the same when I said the word need.
Kind of like, you know, like if Brene Brown's talking about being in the arena, there is an arena that's like sex.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, no, only females. And because you know, when you go to a club and ladies all dress up, we really dressed up to impress each other. I swear to God.
Yeah.
The men are easy.
Yeah.
They're easy. Like, you can flirt and bat your eyelashes but to impress another woman is that's a challenge. As in a lot of us are kind of like, yeah, that's what I'm really. We just don't admit that to ourselves.
Yes.
To where it's just like, it is so gratifying to find another woman to be like, this was such an awesome conversation.
Mm-hmm.
This woman has my back. This person vouched for me. This person asked me for something, or like is lifted up by my contribution. Then it's just like, it's not better, it's just different. And I think it is something that we're needing more of, and it's available, and what we have to do is start looking at some of the bullshit that's in the way about that it's all about the man, that it's all about the look, and really just start going for, let's go for genuine friendship here. Yeah. That's, drama queens and nasty bitches need not apply. I got no space at my table for that.
Right.
I don't care if the seat's empty. I got no space at my table for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Not gonna do it.
Yeah.
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 Cool.
Yeah.
I think that's a good spot.
Cool.
Oh yeah, I gotta turn this one off. Here I come.